I just got banned off of Twitch for the 4th time in 90 days. And a well-respected legend in the streaming space by the name of Linus Tech Tips is now also, for some reason, about to get banned off of Twitch for some reason. I would love to know what the reason for this bullshit is, but I don't know. I don't know which retard is the head of Twitch moderation team, but that motherfucker, dude, bro needs to find a new job because bro has no idea what the fuck he's doing. But then again, not knowing what the fuck you're doing, man, you're right at home with Twitch customer service.
Simulcasting guidelines that TLDR state that the WAN show could get us in trouble on Twitch.
Yeah, I remember that. Twitch told all of their creators, yeah. So you guys should all pick up multi-streaming and you guys should really give it a shot, streaming on all platforms. We heavily support all this shit. But if you ever talk about any of the other platforms you're streaming on while live on Twitch, and if you ever show your another chat besides the one on Twitch, and if you ever acknowledge a dono from any other platforms, you're permanently banned. You're banned. But you should still try it. You should still try it. But if you do, we're gonna ban you. Oh, okay, great.
Maybe, sort of.
They state that the Twitch user experience of a simulcast stream must be no less than the experience on other platforms or services, including chat engagement.
Oh, it gets even worse. They literally put in a rule to where if you're multi-streaming on Twitch, Kick, and YouTube and Twitter at the same time, and you don't pay enough attention to Twitch chat, you're banned. So it's literally like you're on a date where you're hanging out with 3 of your homies, and your Twitch is the jealous girlfriend that says, you better tell me I'm pretty. If you look at them and you don't look at me, we're breaking up. If you don't pay enough attention to me, we're breaking up. If you don't take me to dinner, we're breaking up. It's like, oh my God, they've turned multi-streaming into a fucking abusive relationship. And trust me, I know a lot about those.
You also shouldn't provide links or otherwise direct your community to watch your stream on other platforms. Say, for instance, lmg.gg/floatplane.
Oh!
Well, no, that's not really a good link down there.
Yeah, what are you talking about?
You can't use third-party services to combine activity with other platforms. And there was a immediate question from our community. And here, I'm just going to bring.
Yeah, I would usually show you this, but I actually have my chat segregated due to this rule. I swear, like I'm back in the 1800s where I got the blacks over here and I got the whites over here using separate fucking water fountains. This is where my Twitch chat would be, but I'm fucking banned, so they're gone. Yeah, so this is blacks only hour. I guess you guys all have the pass now. Yeah, it's a joke. I can have Kick and YouTube combined, but I can't have Twitch touch them. No, I'm the prize. It's so psychotic, the rules.
Bring this up here. Does this mean, because we have to provide the same experience to all platforms that...
You mean 1900s? I don't fucking know, dude.
View the WAN show when it is simulcast. Does this mean the WAN show will finally read Twitch chats?
Elijah's saying these are not new, by the way. They're almost 2 years old. They're just enforcing it now.
He didn't even check with me before posting this.
Well, it wouldn't make any sense.
But he's 100% right.
Yeah. Agreed.
Twitch,
need to check
Twitch
in.
chat lost its chatting with us privileges, man, a long time ago now.
Yep.
I think. Just by being
You
rowdy.
held on for a while.
I did.
I gave up a long time ago.
I did. I held out for a long time.
It does obviously really suck because right now, my YouTube chat are a bunch of new frogs, and my Kick chat are a bunch of new frogs, and my Twitch chat is just the oldest motherfuckers on earth, bro. I mean, it's fucking nuts. Like, I've been streaming on Twitch for 7 years. I've barely been streaming on Kick and YouTube for 2 months, so I got a bunch of bright new baby boys over here who are always happy to see me. And then I got these other motherfuckers who used to be here. They're gone. They're fucking dead in the dirt right now. They're currently being fucking waterboarded by Twitch. They've been captured. They're being beaten alive. And they're just like, oh, you're live? Okay.
What in the South Park is happening in America?
About 2 weeks ago, a Norwegian tourist named Mads Mikkelsen, who is not to be confused with the Danish actor from the James Bond and Marvel movies, landed in Newark Airport. On arrival, he was detained by immigration agents who demanded access to his cell phone and then denied him entry to the U.S. As one Norwegian news outlet, which spoke to him, reports, quote, Mikkelsen says that after being warned he could face a fine or even prison, he gave immigration officers the PIN code to his phone. He was then confronted with its contents, pictures the officers found questionable. In particular, a meme of U.S. Vice President J.D. Vance, portrayed as bald, and
I think he's going to be the next president, guys. I think there are too many of these memes to stop it from happening at this point. I do. I actually think that there have been so many memes. It can't not happen. No, I know this is a fake story. Of course it's a fake story.
a private photo of a pipe. Specifically,
it's MSNBC.
Mikkelsen says the immigration officials objected to this viral meme of the vice president depicting him as a bald baby. This and hundreds like it are all over the internet, as some of our viewers may have seen. Now, U.S. Customs and Border Protection has responded to these allegations. They say Mikkelsen was not denied entry to the United States because of this meme you can see on your screen.
Right.
CBP says that it was over, quote, his admitted drug use.
That's correct.
Mikkelsen says that he told the agency he smoked marijuana exactly twice in his life, once in Germany, once in New Mexico. But not everyone seems to believe that explanation. And if anything, suspected censorship of the Vance meme may have brought even more attention to it, which can happen in cases like this. Yesterday, Democratic Senator Ron Wyden of Oregon shared the viral meme of Vice President.
Do they know that they're making him more powerful? Do they even understand what they're doing? I don't think that they're realizing it.
J.D. Vance on social media.
They're making,
and in fact,
they're strengthening
that
him.
Meme, the one you're looking at right here, even made its way to the floor of Irish Parliament.
We're watching a major incursion on freedom of expression, unthinkable in a Western democracy. This week, a young Norwegian tourist detained by
So there are two groups of people in society that cause all of our problems. Isn't it crazy how every single time it's the same people? Every single time. How does that happen?
at Newark Airport and sent back to Oslo. Why? He had this meme on his phone.
Oh, no.
Minister, a meme depicting Vice President J.D. Vance as a baby. I mean, extraordinary, extraordinary that a young...
I love how they pan out and there's like 2 people paying attention and 10 people that are even there. Nobody's even here.
With this amusing meme on their phone depicting a public person, that this would be used as an excuse to detain him for 5 hours and then deport him back to Oslo.
That's right.
Again, DHS and CBP deny that's the reason. But, you know, just in case they are not telling us the full story here, please, dear viewers, I hope you take appropriate precautions. I strongly recommend that you do not try to cross the border with this meme on your phone, or this meme, or this meme, or...
They don't even realize what they're doing. I think that's my favorite part about this, is that they think they're making fun of him, but they're actually just making him more and more and more powerful the entire time. He's going to win. I think that this... Because, like, the thing is that we've had the content president. But now it's time for the meme president.
This one.
Oh, no.
There is absolutely nothing funny about having any of these on your phone. We are just looking out for your own safety here.
I cannot fucking wait. And, yep, there we go. 7.5 more years. It's going to be 8.5 probably. Wait, look at all the profile pictures.
It would be a real shame if everyone had this terrible photo as their profile picture.
Guys, this is getting dark. We really need to lighten up.
This whole situation got turned upside down.
This is not a laughing matter, and the media has really twisted this story sideways.
This whole situation is so alien to me.
We need to take a very close look at ourselves as a nation.
Guys, we gotta take this seriously. Did you see how red he was last time he thought about this?
Guys, we should take a step back and objectively analyze the situation.
As a Norwegian woman, I would never use that picture on my profile.
Guys, do not post this, I can hear you.
This truly is a low point in our nation's history.
This situation demands our full attention. We should not give our backs to this.
Guys, I think we should stop and look at this from a different angle.
We really should keep an eye out for that kind of behavior.
This isn't something we should push to the side. This is incredibly disrespectful.
Guys, we need to use our brains. Bullying him isn't okay.
We need to get to the bottom of this matter.
Hats off to you guys for calling out such behavior.
Most administrations focus on national security. This administration focuses on national insecurity.
Guys, if we crack the case, we will finally understand this odd situation.
Guys, this is unacceptable. I demand to see the manager. Gentlemen,
It's okay. You know what? I'll figure this shit out. Wait right there. Hello? No, it's f***ing you, man. Stop lying to me. Look.
Wait. Oh. Hello? Can you hear me? Hello? You can hear me now. What's up, bro?
Yo, can you hear me?
What's up? Can you hear me?
Yo.
What's up,
wonderful.
bro?
See, yo, I just want to talk to you.
Yeah. About what?
See, why are you disrespecting me? Why are you saying I'm throwing?
You and Jungle Internet Grubs.
the new future of the Democratic Party. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Here we go.
All right, well, Republicans fight for capitalism. A socialist is now the face of the Democratic Party. They just nominated this guy in New York City on the Democratic side of the aisle.
Do you like capitalism?
No, I have many critiques of capitalism. Call myself a democratic socialist. We put forward a plan to start Trump-proof.
In New York City on the Democratic side of the aisle.
Do you like capitalism?
No, I have many critiques of capitalism. Call myself a democratic socialist. We put forward a plan to start Trump-proofing our city, increasing the top corporate tax rate and increasing income tax.
And that's the best it gets.
In my opinion, if somebody doesn't like capitalism, they should go somewhere else. Like, I think that if you don't like capitalism and you want to replace it, you don't want to have capitalism, just go to a country that doesn't have capitalism. Yeah, get out. Go somewhere else.
Meet Zoran Mamdani. He's campaigning on fundamentally transforming New York into his social paradise.
It is the time for our city to be reborn, a new city with a new politics, We're the worker.
I actually think that so the issue is that, and this is the problem with somebody like this, is that they have a lot of these like extreme retard opinions, but they also have like really down to earth, reasonable opinions too. And I think that the first time that the Democratic Party is able to run a candidate like this, that doesn't have all of the weird baggage that this guy has, they're going to have that person win the presidency. But the problem is that every time one of these people emerges, they turn out to be some radical ideologue that has a bunch of
if you're a showrunner, like, I feel like this, that literal constellation of words come in that very order that I went into the stream.
So, guys, I can play Jace. Jace will count as TF.
But we don't know if they're playing TF, guys. And also, let's not do any of this funny ghost and stuff, man. Let's just play, bro.
Yeah,
Funny.
Jace.
Honestly,
Jace
it could be rumors to throw us off, and it's also cringe AF if we're cheating anyway, so let's just, you know what I mean?
There's a Kedril response.
I think LeBlanc won't have good synergy. No?
Oh shit! Wait, I got inside information. I heard about this actually, because I went into stream for half a second before last game. They were talking about TF. They go TF and Quinn.
Yo, whoa, that's weird, man. That's mega weird. That is fucking weird as hell, bro. What is that? Yo, that's disqualification on the spot.
Nah.
Who's to say he doesn't do that next round as well?
Yeah,
Bro,
precisely. Like, this is the big fucking problem that nobody seems to understand, and even Natty doesn't understand it, because his defense is, I didn't do it, even though, like, he says he did it. Okay, so very well, like, let's imagine he has like a weird spasm where he says he did something where he didn't do it, right? Okay, that is his defense. Who's to say you're not gonna, like, how can you be trusted? How can the tournament proceed? Like, it's such a stupid situation you brought upon yourself. I don't even know. Like, the tournament runners have no clue right now. Every team fighting you, every team fighting any team. You just set the precedent that it's perfectly fine to ghost people because nobody got punished and nothing happened. So what's gonna happen is every next game is gonna be played from the fucking shadow.
As a bunch of reductive ideals. They can't anymore? Yeah, exactly, right? And that's the big issue that they have, is that, like, this guy, I think he's got great charisma. He's a great speaker. I think he resonates with a lot of the younger people there. A lot of people like him there. Why is it that they can't recreate somebody like this that doesn't have all of this baggage? I don't understand that. He knows how to speak. Yeah, he's a great speaker for sure.
Comes first.
And what is his signature economic policy? Government-run grocery stores.
I will create a network of city-owned grocery stores. We will redirect city funds from corporate supermarkets to city-owned grocery stores.
Ay. Where have we seen this before? I don't know. Have a look.
Soviet Russia?
The state food stores are called the gastronome shops. You locate what you want. You stand in line to learn if it's available. Then you queue up in another line and buy that particular food ticket. Then you line up again and you acquire the desired food. Unless what you've selected has been sold out in the meantime.
Yeah, let's run it like we run the DMV, folks. That's the way to do it. That's what's going to get New York City back on track. Mom Donnie's...
Wouldn't you agree, though, how late-stage capitalism is ruining everything? It's the direct cause of enshittification. It's just something you've made multiple videos of, dog. It's fair to have critiques of capitalism, and you for sure. No, not really. I mean, capitalism is the best system in the world, and every country that doesn't use it is a piece of shit. And that's historically been proven with 100% accuracy. I think that a lot of people don't want unregulated capitalism. And they don't want crony capitalism. But that doesn't mean that at a core, that's not clearly the best decision.
Radical policies are sending New Yorkers into a panic. The Wall Street Journal reports that some developers and landlords are making...
And also, and here's another component that a lot of people might not realize, is that a lot of the most negative effects of late-stage capitalism are actually outcomes through regulation that's created and lobbied for by these companies that ensure some sort of monopoly or market control. So most examples and like manifestations of, you know, what people would say, quote, is late stage capitalism is actually just late stage corruption. And so you have companies that effectively pull the ladder up on competition. They create regulations so other people can't enter the market. They have unfair consumer practices. And so the real core problem there isn't necessarily capitalism. It's the merging with government and business and them working hand in hand. That's really where the issues are. It's corporatism? Yes, exactly. And that's like basically... unregulated capitalism is a disaster. And the first thing that happens with unregulated capitalism is the people with all the capital regulate it. Like, that's what happens instantaneously. And so you have to have regulations and you have to have rules. But at the same time, to say that this kind of stuff is problematic is just completely untrue. The chatter speaking as if there's a late-stage capitalism as proven successful in history. Private interest always takes priority late game. Yeah, of course it does. If you compare USA and Sweden, both capitalist countries, one's a lot healthier, even with higher taxes. I'd much prefer to live in Sweden. I wouldn't. I hear it's a shithole. It's been infested by a bunch of people that are like violent migrants. Yeah, not anymore. Maybe 20 years ago, sure, but not now.
Operations to flee the city, and real estate agents are preparing for an exodus. One agent told the New York Post, quote, "My #1 job will be moving people from New York to Florida again." But the New York Times calls him a new political star. And another far-left paper is...
He absolutely is. And I think that people have to... There has to be a degree of soul-searching in the political community. Why a person like this resonates so much with so many people. You can't just call this guy a radical communist and just... It's the same way... Like, you couldn't just call Donald Trump a racist and, oh, okay, well, everybody's just going to immediately say... Oh, well, oh my God, he's a racist. Oh no, never mind. I can't have these viewpoints anymore. That's not what's going to happen. And so don't do that. Yeah, it didn't work with Donald Trump, and it's not going to work with Zoan either, right? I think that both of these people are people that represent a massive amount of people that have been disenfranchised by a system, and they look towards iconoclastic leaders like someone like Donald Trump or Mandami or anybody else like this. They look at these people as destroyers of the system because they feel like the system has oppressed them. That's the reason why they're symptomatic of systematic issues. Yes, exactly. So you really shouldn't, like, this guy isn't the problem. The problem is that people voted for him. And why did people vote for him? That's your problem. Don't blame him. Blame the voters.
It's encouraging Democratic establishment to follow his example as a blueprint to future elections.
Mm-hmm. I am delighted, and it's good to see that kind of energy come in.
The relentless focus on affordability had great appeal all across the city of New York.
This is about the message that the people of New York City are trying to send to our party.
That doesn't mean anything.
If Mamdani is the future of the Democrats, the party may be in for a rude awakening come November of 2026. Even the Washington Post editorial board is warning them to, quote, Democrats should fear that he will discredit their...
Never listen to the Washington Post as just some bullshit fucking news article, publication. Every one of these news companies is owned by a large special interest that has a vested interest in making people believe something. So every time that you hear somebody get discounted like this by mainstream media and by all of these different places, the reason why Jeff Bezos, yeah, there you go. And this is true with Fox, CNN, MSNBC, NBC, all of this stuff. They're all the same. You should never look at something like this objectively, because it's not objective. There's a goal that these people have in mind.
Next generation of party leaders, almost all of whom are better than this Democratic socialist. Ouch. David, this guy's taking a really radical position out here.
Well, is there any real surprise? I mean, this guy is the Sadiq Khan of New York, and you saw what happened to London under him. This is a playbook that's been underway for a long time. The New York City Council, go back to the Christine Quinn days. I mean, I know we're kind of localizing it, but you got to understand that it's a weak mayor town with a strong leftist city council and, frankly, ineffective Republicans on the council. There's been no opposition to their march in New York State, because it's not just about Mandami. You talk about the Working Families Party. You talk about Letitia James, who was their candidate all the way to the AG spot. You talk about Kathy Hochul, and now you give them New York City. This is a playbook that works. You look at the SEIU, Liuna 108.
The reason why it works is because he talks about housing. That's the reason why. He talks about issues that directly affect people, and people are willing to put the bullshit, weird views that he has behind them and vote for him anyway. It's the exact reason why people voted for Donald Trump. They might have thought Donald Trump is a psychopath, racist, maybe even a rapist, but this person still also wants to do something that's in my best interest. So you view yourself as aligned with him and you vote for him anyway. I would argue that I think that the majority of people, if you ask them, do you think Donald Trump has ever committed a felony? Most people that voted for Trump would say yes. But does that really change the reason why they're voting for him? No, absolutely not. People would vote for a murderer if they thought that that murderer was going to give them a better life. So this entire premise that you have to attack people on their character, and you have to look at this, you have to look at, like, what is the value proposition that these people have? No, they wouldn't. Of course they would. Absolutely they would. I mean, we've had people that have, like, what are you talking about? It's not even a question. Absolutely they would. How do you think like all elections went for like probably many, how do you think chiefs were chosen in villages? How do you think warlords were decided in ancient times? It's simple. It's simple. Every single time. Yeah, people comes first. Yeah, people's life comes first. They wouldn't admit it publicly, and people will never admit it. Like, and again, they would do this, yeah, by force, exactly. And also when people are afraid, that's whenever they want that person even. And I think that you saw that a lot of people really don't like the fact that Donald Trump is so flippant and outspoken about just like, remember whenever people were really mad when he said like, oh, like, what's the problem? Well, we're just going to bomb the shit out of him. And then like him talking shit about like how he killed somebody, posting like videos of somebody dying. Oh, he died like a dog. People tone policing him for that and saying this is like horrible psychopath behavior. But the moment that that psychopath behavior is directed on Iran, someone who, or a group that they feel like deserves it, now they're rooting for Trump and they're saying this is a good thing and people are feeling safe. So really in a lot of cases, there's a comfort that people have whenever they're criticizing people who are willing and even enthusiastic about being violent. But the moment that violence comes to their doorstep, they're crying for those people to come help them. And I think that this is another manifestation of that, is that they see a person who has a lot of very incendiary, you know, in sometimes cases like violent rhetoric, but it doesn't matter because he's going to be violent to the people that you don't like. That's the reason why. It's literally that simple. It's hypocrites? No, it's not hypocrites. It's survival. Like, people want, like, that's the same reason as, like, you know, the El Salvador. Like, you guys know that the guy in El Salvador violated multiple human rights problems, and, like, the UN has all these issues with, like, the way that he put people in CCOD and everything like that. And does anybody care? Does it matter? No, because all the people that are complaining about it are in a fucking box being forced to work and probably being killed. So it doesn't matter. See, everybody thinks that they are like above this and like this is some kind of like fucking high-minded ideal, but the moment that they're actually confronted with any sort of real threat, they will immediately default, like go back to factory reset settings and want a person like Bukele or like Trump who will just simply bomb the shit out of them or send the military in and kill anybody who disagrees. That's the reason. Like, you think this won't happen, it'll happen instantly. Duarte is the best example. Duarte literally just executed and just massacred drug dealers. Just indiscriminately. Just killed tons of them. And everybody was happy. How does that happen? It's simple. People feel like their survival is at stake. That's the reason. He got arrested? Yeah, he got arrested by a third party, not by his own government or by his own people. What the fuck are you saying? Hitler also won office? Yeah, I mean, obviously Hitler's another good example of that too. Yeah, for sure. People will easily and always vote for somebody who is like violent and aggressive if they think it's something that's going to achieve a goal. Give me 1 second. Gotta take a call. And he's good? Yeah. Well, let me finish the video first.
York City. This is a playbook that works. You look at the SEIU, Liuna 108, all the other players in New York who are going to go in and soak the city. And here's the thing. They can't stop the people with the ability from leaving. The people who run the city on a daily basis, workers of every color, they can't afford to live here. New York City is going to see the opposite of what was Ed Koch's and Rudy Giuliani's vision and saving New York to put it back on the right track. Look what de Blasio, look at Adams, look what comes next, and be afraid.
But Mayor Adams looking pretty good compared to this guy, Molly.
Well, I think the real question here isn't so much about are the socialists going to take over the Democratic Party and are they leading right now, but are they outworking the moderates? This guy shook the hands.
They are outworking. He got arrested? Yeah, he got arrested by a third party, not by his own government or by his own people. What the fuck are you saying? Hitler also won office? Yeah, I mean, obviously Hitler's another good example of that too. Yeah, for sure. People will easily and always vote for somebody who is like violent and aggressive if they think it's something that's going to achieve a goal. Give me 1 second. Gotta take a call. And he's good? Yeah. Well, let me finish the video first.
York City. This is a playbook that works. You look at the SEIU, Liuna 108, all the other players in New York who are going to go in and soak the city. And here's the thing. They can't stop the people with the ability from leaving. The people who run the city on a daily basis, workers of every color, they can't afford to live here. New York City is going to see the opposite of what was Ed Koch's and Rudy Giuliani's vision and saving New York to put it back on the right track. Look what de Blasio, look at Adams, look what comes next, and be afraid.
But Mayor Adams looking pretty good compared to this guy, Molly.
Well, I think the real question here isn't so much about are the socialists going to take over the Democratic Party and are they leading right now, but are they outworking the moderates? This guy shook the hands.
They are outworking them, and more importantly, their ideals are more popular. This is the issue that they need to contend with. Stop thinking about this from a structural level and think about it from a grassroots perspective. There's a reason why all of these people promoted this and were fans of it. Free stuff is popular? No, it's a lot more complicated than that. But with his policies, the city will go bankrupt if he wins the mayoral election. Well, then they should have put out a better candidate. If, like, I don't, like, that's not... The thing is that that's bad. Obviously, that's really bad. Of course, that's bad. But if they didn't want that to happen, they should have taken the concerns that people had more seriously, and that way they wouldn't have resorted to electing an extremist. That's the reason. Yeah, this is a democratic consequence. Exactly. These people were ignored for a long time, and now they're not getting ignored, and they can force their viewpoint, and now things are changing. And until you address the core problem, nothing is going to change. And that's it. Democrat Party is so disconnected from the people. Yes, it is disconnected from the people completely. One of the richest city in the world will go bankrupt with one mayor a term. Idiotic take by a chatter. Yeah, I'm just saying in general, right? But let's see if I can look at this here.
Walked the city. He had the energy. He did the work. And where is he today? Where did he literally go today? When all the chips fell, it turned out there were a lot of wealthy white voters, Asian voters. He was had a lot of upper class, high educated voters, and didn't appeal to the black vote as well. He was in Harlem today. He's out there still working it. So the question is, are the moderates going to be able to claw back some of that energy that seems to be on the progressive side going forward?
The energy doesn't matter if the message is bad. You can have all the energy in the world, but if the mess, like, look at Michael Bloomberg, for an example, like, you know, in the 2020 election, like, his message was just simply bad and it didn't resonate with anybody. So that's the real reason why he failed. So you need to look at policies, and yes, obviously charisma matters, everything like this matters, But also money matters. People being able to afford their shit matters. And that's the main thing.
Yeah, he's taken this interesting position. If we put up this quote from his tax plan, shift the tax burden from overtaxed homeowners in the outer boroughs to more expensive homes in richer and whiter neighborhoods.
Shifting the tax burden from overtaxed homeowners in the outer boroughs to more expensive homes in richer and whiter neighborhoods. That's crazy. It's insane to me that any white people vote for Democrats at all. It is a shock. I would never vote for a Democrat as a white person in my life. How is this allowed? It's not. But the thing is, yeah, is that for real? Yeah. I mean, it really... I mean, imagine saying this about black people. This would be insane. You're a minority. It's kind of racist. Yes, of course. No. I have a very, very simple principle. If a person will disadvantage me because of my gender or my race, I will never vote for them, and I will actively work against them in every way that I possibly can. It's literally that simple to me. So if I have anybody that does that, any type of mindset like this, period, like that it is literally a single kid logic, I swear. I think it is. I do think it's kid logic. Oh, right, let's just go after people based off of their race. Like, again, as a white person, I would never vote for a Democrat in my life, and I don't know why any other white person would ever. It is crazy that people actively vote for people that want to 100% disenfranchise them on the basis of their skin color.
That's his policy. And the part about the grocery store, I mean, you have experience with this.
Yeah, I was just at a grocery store on Friday, and I've been in multiple grocery stores across the city because crime has been such a big issue. The problem is New York City, like most of the country, but acutely here, is too expensive. Young people feel they can't afford to live here. So
exactly, and that's the reason why they're voting for him. If you don't address people's concerns, they will vote for somebody who does. We already went through this. The Democrats went through this with Donald Trump. Like, this has already happened, and now it's happening again. Like, I don't know how people can't see the parallels with this.
Here comes this guy who has done a lot of good groundwork and has a very strong social media presence. And he's promising, I'm going to make things better. I'm going to make it more affordable. Who doesn't want that? And of course, who doesn't want free stuff? The problem is his execution is all wrong, and the voters don't see past the social media. Grocery store margins, 1.6%.
They don't care about that. Like, most people don't care about the details. They care about having a politician who at least attempts to try to resonate with them. Fucking, what's his name? Chris Cuomo, I forgot, Anthony Cuomo, I forgot, Andrew Cuomo, does not resonate with average voters. He's a career politician who didn't live in New York for like over a decade. He did, yeah, Andrew, he does, yeah, he doesn't like, you need to look at the real reasons why you're losing and stop calling the voters stupid, because the voters are never going to be smart. The only way that you can guarantee that voters are smart is if you take away a lot of people's voting rights, which I think is a great idea, but that's not what they're going to do.
These grocers are not taking home more money. But hey, if you have a congestion tax where now it's X amount more expensive to even get your groceries into the city, the grocers then need to charge more because they're charging more for when it's coming in.
Yeah.
The math doesn't add up, but he's touched on something so important that I think the Republicans in the city have long struggled to do, which is that it is too expensive here. But the way to fix that is not to say you're going to give you everything for free, because millionaires being taxed an extra 2%, they leave. You have no money if all the folks, and I'm hearing this, if Mamdani wins, people are moving, and if you don't have your revenue base in the wealthy in New York, you don't have government-run grocery stores.
Exactly. Makes a lot of sense.
Hey, Sean Hannity here.
I don't think there's going to be a lot of people that are going to leave. I think some people will that have a lot of money, but I think many people will not end up leaving. And so we'll see what happens, but that's it. Trust funds go burr. There's the video right there. And they won't leave New York City. I think some of them will for sure. They absolutely will. I mean, to say that they won't at all, I think that's crazy. I think they absolutely will. Yeah, class wars have begun. Well, I don't even think this is really class war. I mean, I think to a certain degree it is. But there's also a lot of identity politics that are like going into it as well. So there's a lot of factors. My dad called me. He said they're discharging him today. So I'm going to have to end the stream early and go pick him up and take him home. And then I'm going to be caught up doing like probably 5 or 10 other things after that. And thank you guys very much. Absolutely. And, you know, it's a short day. Hopefully tomorrow I'm going to be back on and we can get back to our regularly scheduled programming. Tax rights wars were racism. Yeah, it definitely is. And again, it's insane to me that so many people vote for this, but unfortunately, that's what happens nowadays. And I don't know really what to do about it. I think, honestly, I think this problem will kind of resolve itself over time, but it will probably have to get worse first in order for people to acknowledge that it is a problem. And then once they do, then I think that people will definitely push back about it really, really hard. And let's see here.
So what's your take?
I should be the mayor.
I don't know, man.
Okay.
Well, I'm getting all these pieces of mail. Hold on here.
Yeah.
They keep sending me mail that says that you shouldn't be the mayor.
What are these guys saying?
Okay, let me see. This one says support higher taxes and more fees on New Yorkers. I don't want to pay more taxes.
Do you make $1 million or more a year?
100% disagree.
So then your taxes are not going up. The only taxes that we are proposing are on the 1% of New Yorkers who make $1 million or more a year.
What are you going to do about the price of matcha lattes?
100% not sure.
Okay. I mean, they're $9. Dude.
I only want to make
this is
$9.
You can win this campaign easily if you lower the cost of matcha lattes.
I can only make the promises I can keep.
This says NYC can't risk a mayor who supports defunding the police.
Well, no matter how many pieces of literature you get sent, I'm not defunding the police. I'm actually working with the police to create public safety by ensuring
I think these people have a huge messaging problem. They have a massive messaging problem because if you say you're not defunding the police and people say you're defunding the police and you say, no, I'm not, then why are you tweeting out to defund the police? Like, can't you see how this is confusing for people? Can't you see how somebody would look at this and be like, ah, man, I don't know what to believe right now?
Do their jobs, focus on serious crimes, and creating a department of community safety that'll focus on mental health, homelessness.
Yeah, and his idea about this is a good idea, by the way, that police officers should not be used as Swiss Army knives for every single problem. The kind of person who's trained on how to de-escalate a domestic violence situation should not always be the same person that comes over in order to fix a, you know, like there's like a dog attack. And it should not be the same person who is arresting a drug dealer. Police officers are expected to be Swiss Army knives. I think it spreads them very thin. It makes them operate out of multiple areas that are outside of what I would say their competency is. And I think that you probably should have a more gradation between different types of public service enforcement and not a binary police officer nothing, right? I think this is, I agree with this. Who's paying for it? Well, the tax dollars would pay for it, right? So you would reallocate tax dollars to have some people that would go after things that would be nonviolent.
Technically, the police force will stay the same, but there will be more people doing other stuff.
And we're saying that no longer do police officers have to do the jobs of mental health professionals and social workers.
Yeah, this is a good
Instead,
idea.
They can focus on shooting.
This is
murder.
this is what's disappointing about people like this is that I think this guy has a lot of ideas. I agree with this. I think this is a good idea, but you know, I'm not going to be on board with somebody that wants to you know, like negatively affect me because of my race. Like that's it. So y'all need more funding? Yeah.
And serious crimes in the city.
What the police should do. That makes a lot of sense. You don't see me doing other jobs on the subway. This is my job. This is all I do.
Do the job that you signed up for.
I'm not driving the damn train.
No, you're not.
All right, this says that you have a radical plan to put homeless in the subway system.
This is just 3 for 3 a lie that you're getting in your literature.
Yeah.
Let's look at the little print of who's actually paying for this.
This
is being paid for by
Michael
Bloomberg, by DoorDash, and by Bill Ackman. Bill Ackman is a Trump-supporting billionaire.
What the hell is DoorDash doing funding an election? It makes no sense.
And then finally, Michael Bloomberg dropped $8.3 million on Andrew Cuomo's super PAC. That's the same amount of money we raised for more than 20,000 people. That's the kind of mismatch here between ordinary people and billionaires.
Should have used $1 million to subsidize matchas. I mean, seriously, it's a good idea. People would stay in New York. Who does end up leaving the city?
No, I mean, this is, I think that you're going to have probably a lot of people, if he raises taxes on richer people in the city, I think you're going to have probably a lot of people leave the city. I think that's just logically what would happen. Why would somebody, like, I know multiple people personally that, you know, used to live in California, and things weren't so great in California because of the taxes, and then they left California, right? Video would have been realistic if you got mugged while being on camera. Well, the problem is that, and this is the issue, is that I think that places like New York, and I don't live in New York, so I'm only speaking secondhand, but I know in Austin, the problem isn't that you need less policing. The problem is you need more of it. And the issue is that, like, you know, not cooperating with immigration officials, not putting people that are violent and aggressive on subways in jail. This is just, again, asking for problems. And I think that there's a tremendous amount of empathy for evil that turns into cruelty to the innocent. I think that's what happens. And I think this is a good example of it, right? Now, I thought this was funny. May 19th, 2025. If esports and pro gaming wants to rely on outside money, they should embrace porn, gambling, and alcohol sponsors. June 26, 2025. 1 month later. Why we are opening betting sponsorships in esports and how we're doing it responsibly. Oh, man. That's crazy. What are the odds? Wow. So, yeah, there we go. And I would do this. Yeah, I told y'all this shit was going to happen. I said this shit was going to happen. Everybody wanted to act like it wasn't, but now it is. And so that's where we're at. Everybody was mad at me. But the one thing that they weren't saying is that I was wrong. Once again, I have been vindicated. Once again, I have been proven right. And one of the biggest companies with one of the biggest and most extensive esports organizations in the world is opening up betting sponsorships in esports and how we're doing it responsibly. Yet, who cares whether it's responsibly or not? I mean, I'm going to just tell you right now, you cannot advertise gambling responsibly. Like, if you, okay, and by the way, if you think this is not true, let's use the golden rule. Okay, let's use the Jesus rule. If you die and you go to the gates of heaven, it's not porno if you can't show porn on ads. Simple, all you do is show the name. It's easy. They used to have advertisements for Girls Gone Wild all the time back on MTV. They just do the same thing with this. And so anyway, yeah, so they're opening up betting sponsorships for Tier 1 League and Valorant teams with safeguards to protect the competitive integrity and fan experience. I want to say one thing. Exposing people to gambling will kill a percentage of those people. Now, what is a acceptable rate of human sacrifices? 1 in 1,000, 1 in 10,000, 1 in 100,000, 1 in a million. And that's really what the question is, right? 7%? I mean, that's a lot. So it's 7, so what? Okay, 7, wow. Okay, so like fucking almost 1 in 10. Less than 50%, yes, 0%. Well, anyway, anything under 50%, you can't gamble responsibly, yes. And so they're doing this. I said this was going to happen. Everybody was mad. I don't watch any sport that glorifies betting. Doesn't matter if it's esports or normal sports. Polar, you're watching a stream on a platform that is in a. I mean, if you're watching, well, you're on Twitch. That was a Twitch chat message. But you know, if you're on Kick, I mean, you know, that's promoted by Stake. And if you're on Twitch, Twitch has an official partnership with DraftKings, which is a sports betting website. So this entire idea that you think that you're getting around this or like you're avoiding this or whatever, no, you're not. You're absolutely providing money and providing benefits for gambling by being here. So nothing wrong with that, but just I don't want to hear virtue signaling, right? I don't like hearing that at all. Just because you say something that's going to happen does not mean that you said it was good. Yeah, and I'm not really a gambler personally. I don't really like gambling because I feel like you lose most of the time, so I don't want to do something I would lose in. So why sports betting and why now? So we know betting isn't for everyone. However, some fans have strong feelings about that. We respect it. However, the reality is that it's happening no matter whether you like it or not. Historically, this has been a restricted sponsorship category, and Riot has not engaged with companies. Teams have asked us to reconsider our stance, and after years of analysis to ensure that we got it right, we agreed that it was time to open this category and open up more revenue for teams and opportunities. Sports betting is a space that many fans choose to engage with, and there has been $10 billion of sports betting. 70% of all bets are in unregulated markets with bookmakers who aren't licensed. Bookmakers being licensed or not, nobody really cares about this. So I don't really think this matters. I don't think anybody cares really. And so it's just going to go horribly wrong. How could it go wrong? How could this have any negative effect? How is it that fans of Riot want to hold Riot to a higher standard than they hold the NBA to, than they hold FIFA to, than they hold other real like F1 racing to? It's a complete ridiculous double standard that makes no sense, and it shouldn't be taken seriously. That's really the truth. Throwing a gambling little children, what do you think kids don't watch basketball? Really? Like, what are you thinking? Like, where is this? What are we doing here? Yeah, more half the Premier League football teams have gambling sponsors. Yes, exactly. It's delusional. It's absolutely delusional. You don't care about the kids. It's not true. There's no consistency. It's not worth even looking at that authentically. But anyway, we've gotten all spit into sports betting partners. It doesn't matter. Every single gambling website, I do believe this. I can't be certain about it, but I would bet on it, which is ironic considering the topic. I think every single gambling website on the internet has resulted in at least one person killing themselves. Has resulted in at least one person killing themselves. I do. I think it's very likely that's what happened. And anyway, so I think so. And I don't doubt it. Only one, who cares? Yeah, bad stats. Probably more than one. Well, what I'm saying is that all of them exist on a spectrum of bad. That's the point that I'm making, is that there is no form of gambling, online gambling, that is healthy, productive, beneficial. It's not good for anybody. You should never gamble. It's always bad, okay? And so, especially fantasy sports, same as stock market, don't compare stock markets to gambling. The difference between it is that with gambling, they're basically betting against you, right? With stocks, the company doesn't have a vested interest. The stock market doesn't have a vested interest in you losing in the same way that gambling does. Gambling has a vested interest in you losing. That way they don't have to pay out. So, like, there's a huge, huge difference between that. And that's it. You don't lose? Yeah, exactly, right? And why is your stream showing intended for certain audiences? Probably because I kept saying the N-word yesterday. But we were talking with a lot of, stuff about Iran and Israel. And so, we were talking about, nuclear, stuff. But, yeah, that's probably what it was. I don't know. It could be something else. I'm not sure. But anyway, are you against lotto tickets as well? Okay. I'm going to give you my actual opinion about gambling. I think gambling should happen, and I think the people that get addicted to gambling and ruin their lives are victims of natural selection. I feel zero empathy to them whatsoever. I don't think that anybody should ever gamble for any reason. I don't care if it's a lottery ticket. I don't care if it's a scratch-off card. I don't care if it's playing, slots. I don't agree with, and I don't participate in any form of gambling at all, period. This is a personal viewpoint. Nobody has to follow my viewpoint. I don't want to make my viewpoint the law. I'm giving you what my opinion is. Like, this is what my opinion is. If I could change the law, I would allow gambling to continue to exist. Because while I think that I have the right to regulate my own life, I don't think that I have the right to regulate your life. And so if you want to gamble, if you choose to gamble, then go ahead and do it. One was not the most humble streamer, my ego would be massive. Yeah, man, let's promote porn to an audience in my gender. Asmon needs to be right. And this is a person with a profile picture of, what is that, a chicken or something? And so, yeah, he's not wrong. A lot of people are mad. A lot of people are pissed. Children watching participate in esports. This is a retarded essay. Look at this. Anime profiles mad. Man. I'm feeling pretty cute, huh? Feeling pretty good. The Switch 2 is the last straw.
So the Switch 2 is out. So the Switch 2 is out. And we 90s babies, I grew up on Nintendo. They were my very first gaming love. Not just the games, but the feeling of them. The wonder, the warmth, the way they pulled you into a world and made it feel like home. Ocarina of Time was the one that really awoke something in me. That opening in Gary Forest with the Deku Tree, fighting Epona across Hyrule Field, it all felt so massive. Like a real world was tucked inside a little cartridge. And then Majora's Mask came along, and my little self had never felt such anxiety. That eerie moon, the ticking clock, the emotional side quests that made you care so much in so little time. It was the very first game that made me feel something beyond just fun. It was sad, confusing, kind of strange at times, and very deep. It wasn't just Zelda. I was obsessed with Super Mario 64. Running wild through Peach's castle, jumping into paintings, discovering every secret star. That game felt like true freedom. And then there were classics like Kirby's Dream Land, Yoshi's Story, Donkey Kong 64, Star Fox, Metroid Prime, all completely different and wonderful in their own way. Every one of them had a vibe, a soul, that Nintendo spark that made it feel like you weren't just playing, you were being led in on something very special. And then my parents bought me the original DS, and just like that, the whole thing was cracked wide open for me. That's how I found Animal Crossing Wild.
The Switch 2 is the last straw. So anyway, this guy. Zoran Mandani, Mamdani, I think it says his name. I don't know, I've never heard his name spoken. And ended up winning the New York City mayor primary, which, I mean, New York City is really popular. It's like, you know, the most famous city probably in America. And so, you know, this is pretty much nation news. You know, a lot of the things that, like, he represents, things that he says, I'm not necessarily.
It's still somehow being talked about in big 2025. It is 32 years of jail isn't bad enough. Apparently, this is now the end of, I would argue, probably in the top 10 most hated streamers of all time.
Hated streamer in the world cannot stop making things worse for himself. From dancing shirtless in public.
He really is disgusting now. When you look like that, it's like, I have to believe that God put you on this earth as like a punishment. Like, I believe there's like real human beings with souls, and then I believe there are like soulless husk that God puts on this earth to test you to see where you're at morally, right? And how you would deal with these situations, you know, as like whether you're gonna go to heaven or hell or not, right? Like how does anybody, you know, like guys like this, guys like Meadows, how do people not look at these people and not just start violently throwing up? I just don't get it, man.
To cursing at and threatening the judge handling his case.
Yeah, but apparently this guy is gay, so maybe I'm just homophobic, who knows?
Oh, causing anxiety by carrying a fish. Tell the judge you can suck my dick. Bring the fish to your mother's house. I don't care.
Johnny's on a mission to self-destruct, and that's this rate. It won't be long before the phrase digging your own grave comes with a picture of Johnny as its definition.
It's crazy because Bro thinks he's hard as fuck, but he's just one of the biggest lolcows in the community, man. Nobody actually gets offended or bothered by this guy. It's just, he was like, oh god, I want to puke. Anyway, this guy's life is a joke. It's hilarious.
The last time I talked about him, he was claiming to get...
It's the mouth and the sunken eyes. You know? Like, he just looks like, you know what, he looks like a mob from Dark Souls, from like Blighttown, that stole human skin and stretched it over his face to try to blend in. You know what I'm saying?
Conduit of evil.
You know what he looks like? He looks like, you guys ever played Bunch's Oddworld Odyssey? He looks like this guy would take like a human skin and like stretch it over his fucking face. Like this weird ass looking dude. You know what I'm saying?
Someone who's willing to do whatever his viewers ask him, as long as they...
That's A,
if you want to see anarchy, if you're an anarchist, and you want somebody that's going to crash out with no
with no sense of self-worth.
You know what's hilarious? If Johnny Somali wasn't wearing a MAGA hat and he was a far-left extremist, everybody would love this guy. It would say he was a revolutionary. And when he got sent to jail, they would say this is the actions of the far right. And everybody knows this is true. Think about how many trans people have gone into GameStop, gotten misgendered, then destroyed an entire store. And then people say, well, if you weren't transphobic, it wouldn't happen. It was your fault. Rather than holding these people actually accountable. It's pathetic. It's pathetic, guys. It's pathetic.
No self-preservation. I will be your man.
Unfortunately for everyone else, he wasn't lying. He since spiraled into even further degeneracy, willing to cross any moral line just so he can cling on to the little relevance he has left. And if that wasn't bad enough, the Korean authorities are now investigating him for a crime so disgusting it
John isn't right or left, he has no beliefs. So here's the thing, neither am I. Yet I wore a MAGA hat one time and I got 4 months of hate press for it. 4 months. Because I wore a MAGA hat as a fucking joke. Right? That's how viscerally retarded these people are who worry this much about politics.
overshadows everything else he's done so far.
Ramsey Clea Ismail is under police. It has been referred to the prosecutor. Serious consideration of child harassment.
Hi, I'm the internet anarchist. I create weekly YouTube documentaries. Today, we're taking yet another look.
It's hilarious because I just thought this guy was Sunny V2, both a different channel. I guess not.
Look at the train wreck that is Johnny Somali. How he somehow found a way to sink even lower than before. And in a twist that defies all logic, how his vile actions are paradoxically paving the way for a better reality everywhere else.
Really?
But until that positive change happens, everyone is stuck dealing with a guy like Johnny, who decided that he wasn't charged with enough crimes already and started harassing other streamers to add one more offense to his name.
Really great idea. Truly a genius.
He stream sniped a creator known as Lightly Homeless and approached him without warning just to be a part of his content. Slightly Homeless knew exactly who Johnny was and wanted no part of him, but when he tried to walk away, Johnny began chasing him through the streets like a lunatic. From there, he kept stream sniping Slightly Homeless to find his location and show up wherever he went, all while harassing Slightly Homeless's girlfriend, a Japanese streamer, Nana, as well.
Like, I need to know genuinely, if you tell someone that you're making me uncomfortable, you're invading my personal space, if you tell them to go away, and then you run away from them, and they chase you, why can you not hit them? Why can you not just shoot them? Like, I feel like it's so easy. You're making me uncomfortable. Please leave me alone. You try to leave, they don't leave you alone. It's Korea, Japan. Okay. This is just so disgusting.
When they refused to entertain his stalking, he went full maniac mode and started hurling extremely inappropriate and derogatory terms at Nana. The only way they got away from Johnny was by taking shelter in a police station. Something Johnny responded to by threatening to slap Nana and stalk her again the next day.
Let Nana come. I slap the fuck that bitch in front of her boyfriend. I mean, I'm on that bitch tomorrow. Nana's
Fortunately, they managed to file a police report, resulting in Johnny getting slapped with yet another.
Yeah, what do you think is very easy if you have someone caught on camera to just fucking, you know, get them locked up if they're admitting to just harassing you at every turn? You think it would be pretty easy? Why does the world make it so hard?
Misdemeanor. However, this did little to stop Johnny, since, in his mind, he's done nothing wrong.
We're not outside. It's not outside. They told the judge this was twerking on the bus. This was twerking. How is that a crime?
But when you do that on strangers, that's harassment. Congratulations. Dude is completely losing it because he's slowly realizing his actions actually have consequences. He even doubled down.
I don't think you realize it at all. I really don't.
Loud music, disrupting their business.
Yeah, I don't think he gets it.
Mind you, this is the same crime he's already being charged for already. Then, after getting home, he called the local police department to discuss the report slightly homeless filed against him, and with the help of Hank, tried to claim that the report was false.
Bill has made a mistake a while ago, and he has so much shit for it. But it really is so true. If you were to just kill the bottom 5% of society, the world would just benefit in mass. I really do think the world and the Earth's big issue is allowing people to exist in the same space as everyone else who are just fucking nuisances, who are just plagues on this earth. Our ethos, our empathy is what's preventing us from developing and evolving at an accelerated rate because we have to drag these retards to keep up with us. If you are this much of a non-functioning member of society, just straight to the fucking gallows, man. It's like there's no need for people like this to exist. There's none, man. There's none. 누가 그 나이가 뭐를 했다고 하면서 거짓으로 신고를 했어요.
As if the police would just believe their word and just drop the case immediately, though maybe he genuinely believed something like this would happen, because when it didn't, he became furious and started cursing at the officer on the phone.
Shut up, buddy. Just.
And as if that wasn't enough, the very next day he was out on the street, twerking in nothing but his boxers. All while telling others to call the police.
Hello, guys and gals. Me, Muhammad. I don't know what's up with this PewDiePie fella, but man, he's gotten a lot more base post-retirement. I'm done with Google. Now, normally these videos can do really well, you know, because some people, like you, probably want to know, how do I make my life more private? How do I get rid of those big tech overlords, those goddamn lizards in Silicon Valley from peeking into my life every single day? Now, before we continue, one thing I want to say is some of our videos are actually showing up on Spotify. So if you want to have a different platform to watch some of the long-form content on, especially considering that some of the conspiracy stuff, maybe the dark web stuff in the future, maybe content gaming, a lot of the content that I'm working on can also be viewed on Spotify. So if you want a different platform to listen to the stuff on while you do something else, while you play a game, while you work out, while you're driving, it also does have video as well. So don't feel that you're missing out on an entire component. It's all there on Spotify. So whether you listen to this on the web browser or you look at it on the app, it's a totally new platform for you to at least watch the content on. Living over here in Asia, and I'm happy to talk about this on this Fast Facts premiere. Now, this is the last one I'm going to do while I'm on vacation. I'm in yet another hotel room, yet another lovely tropical island here in Thailand, enjoying my freedom, enjoying my vacation, having a nice mojito on the beach. But I needed to come and talk about this because this is a discussion I've seen circulating across the internet and also from the mouths of the orbiters themselves. So we're going to get into it today and give a presentation on, is this lawsuit sexist? And I'm also going to give you, at the end, a real critique
today. Of course, as always, I have a lovely presentation for you guys of this lawsuit. So let's start into this. And really, I jumped into this one with Casey Tron. And Casey Tron, as we're all aware, just can't shut up. And one thing that you need to do when you're facing any sort of legal trouble is shut up, shut up, shut up. But she's running her mouth. And here's there's two comments I saw that jumped out to me. The first one was, don't let anyone dull your sparkle, little girls, even when it's powerful men who get litigious to evoke support from incel communities that love to humiliate women. This is not about copyright. Big Mom's going to get through it. Send your energy. That is followed by, this isn't about copyright. This is about evoking incel support. As someone who's been the target of incel harassment for 10 plus years, there's a lot of them, and a few who speak up against it. Men who delay in humiliating women for clicks. I'm so tired of being a target of this. So is copyright about this? Like, let's talk about this. Let's talk about this issue. First of all, my first argument against this is the law itself is objective. This is not a law that involves mental state or individual. It focuses on whether or not you copied work. That doesn't care about your sex, race.
Hello? I heard you're feisty. Oh, pretty. With a silver bias. Don't bite me. She wasn't too keen on having her nails clipped, and she let me know by trying to bite me. Hi. We be friends? What? What's wrong? Wait, we may not exit. Oh, the tail's going. I don't think meowing at her is helpful. Oh my god, okay. No, but like, yeah, she will bite. I don't like that. For a kitten? It's a little bizarre. No, she is a Siberian horse cat. That's not nice. Oh my god. Do I have to put a bubble on a kitten? I don't even think I can put a bubble on a kitten. I don't think it fits. I've only ever seen an aggressive kitten when they're feral. This is not going to fit on her head. No, it's going to be too big. Yeah, it's just going to slide right off her head. I can't do anything with her, though, with the big gloves. I can't clip her nails with those things on. They're too big. Because of her temperament, I decided to focus less on grooming today and more on socialization. Grooming can wait, but building trust cannot. I've never seen a kitten like this before. She said she bites. I was like, oh, you mean they bite? She goes, no, she bites. Yeah, I'm not getting a kitten bubble. It's ridiculous. Excuse me, ma'am. Yeah. Well, I'm getting the gloves. So we were supposed to bathe her today. The kitten is not being friendly. And prevented. You're fine. This is not nice. You're fine. No. Before anyone says that she's biting me because of these gloves, she was biting me before with the gloves on. No, you need to be handled. Remember to adopt or shop responsibly.
sure if I show this on Twitch, I might get banned.